While anime fans love dudes yelling and beating each other up, nothing gets them going as much as a couple of characters going on an adventure and falling in love in the process. So, here are 10 adventure romance anime you must watch. Let's go. Number 10, Seven Seeds.
大丈夫か早く上がれ大丈夫しっかり捕まって
So picture this, you're just a normal high school girl living your normal boring life. Maybe you go out with friends, argue with your mom cause she always wants you to take out the trash. Maybe you have boy troubles. Well, imagine going to sleep and the next time you wake up, you're in a post-apocalyptic world with 5 random people all screaming at each other on a sinking boat. And there is also a crazy storm going on. Well, that romance scenario is what happens in our number 10 anime called Seven Seeds. We follow Natsu Iwashimizu, who has just navigated a world that has basically ended. What remains of the population of Japan is 5 groups of men and women combined. What could go wrong? Every single person has been kept alive because they have some cool ability, some can fight, others have deep knowledge of technology or foods. Natsu, on the other hand, is more relatable to the average weeb. She has no skills to speak of besides social anxiety. So Natsu will have to navigate her shy nature, a world ending, and so many cool boys and girls. Pray for our girl. Number 9, Origin, Spirits of the Past.
この町は僕の誇りだよ。まだよくわからないかもしれないけど、すぐ好きになるよ。この町も、この町の人たちも。
Do you know what always ends up working out for the best? Genetic experiments. So imagine if 300 years ago, some brilliant scientists made a little oopsie that resulted with the mutation of all the Earth's forests. The vegetation decided it had enough of our stupidity, so they decided to delete humanity. The Earth basically turned into the worst day of an anime convention. This is the number 9 on our list. Origin, Spirits of the Past. A story that follows Agito, a young man living with his father in a small village. The villagers have an uneasy truce with the nearby. Imagine having to do peace talks with a tree. Well, our boy Agito is an adventurer in his own right, and one day he goes off on his own and finds something strange. He finds what all anime fans dream of, a girl in a giant machine. Agito wakes her up and gets to know her name, Tula Siem Salsi. Try saying that name twice. He brings her back to his village, and this is where things get messy. She gets kidnapped by some fanatics, and it's up to our boy Agito to save her. He borrows some help from his plant friends and gets going on his crazy adventure. Number 8, Dampre Anime Caravan.
私なら大丈夫だよ、テオ。これも王族としての役目だからね。
わかった。
じゃあ行ってくるね。
For our number 8 on the list, we're going to a beautiful and peaceful small country. People there are pretty chill, just one tiny little problem. The country is surrounded by 2 giant powerhouse countries. One is the military-focused Mildonia, with their goals to just rule every piece of land they see, and the other is Selenfallen, a country of people who worship a deity. This is where we're introduced to our hero of the story, Annie Inako. She is a princess, and she has a really simple task, like super simple, maybe 5 minutes of work. Her orders are to eliminate any hostility between all 3 countries. She's going to the neighboring country to be part of a ceremony, and this is where she faces her biggest challenge, an annoying princess. With all the countries trying to work together, Annie has to try to become friends with this princess. Making friends can suck sometimes. Number 7, Batum. This one really hits close to home for all of us anime fans. Ryoto Sakamoto doesn't have a job. He's kind of just going through life with no purpose, and he lives with his mom and he plays games a lot. Like, a lot. So much so, he is the top-rated player in the game Batum. His exciting career in collecting dust on the couch and gaming is interrupted when he wakes up on a strange island with a green crystal lodged in his arm. Type in the comments if you also once woke up in a strange place with no memory of how you got there. Ryote is shocked when he realizes that someone has recreated the game of Batum in real life. Also, the stakes are life and death. Every player is armed with a bag full of bombs that all have special traits, and the players need to kill 7 other participants and take their green crystals. Damn, this is an adventure anime and not a horror anime? Ryoto is terrified and doesn't want to kill anyone, but he soon realizes that other players aren't so kind. He teams up with Himiko, and their mission is simple. They have to survive and get off the island. Number 6, Jinro no Onnesis Tokito.
ほらもうメンテも修理も終わったんでしょじゃあ街行こう
When humanity is on its last legs and mysterious weapons land from the moon to hunt the remaining population, we have to put the fate of humanity in the most capable hands. Teenagers. Young teenagers become hunters, and their mission is to hunt these deadly machines. They also find old technologies that belong to older civilizations. It's like being James Bond but also collecting garbage at the same time. Our adventure follows Tokito Aizawa, one of the hunters who one day meets T and awakens an ancient power. This gives humanity a chance to get out of this mess. Since this is an anime by Sunrise, expect some giant mechas along the way. Oh, and you get some love, death, and robots minus the death part. Number 5, Lord Marksman and Vanadis.
何のことだ？
お前に貸した弓だまさかあんな出来の悪いものを渡すとは思わなかった
やっぱりあれはジスタートでも出来の悪い弓だったのか。
In this story, we are following an alternate reality Europe that does what Europe does best, a lot of war and conflict. One of the countries is Zicted, and they are ambitious. The war maidens who rule the country have dragon weapons and are getting ready to invade their neighbor's Brune. Leading the troops is Eleonora Ellen Vitaria, the type of person who scares you but also kinda makes you swoon. When the war gets started, Tigvermund Tigre Vorn, an archer, gets caught in the mess. His army loses badly, and he is faced with a scary Ellen. But something shocking happens. Our boy gets lucky. Not in that way, stop it. Ellen decides to spare his life if he joins her. A strange alliance, wars, secret plots, maybe romance. What could go wrong? Number 4, Chaika, the Coffin Princess.
ガズ皇帝討伐の芝居らしいな。
トール私感激希望
やめとけ、見つかるぞ。芝居が終わるのを待って観客に紛れて外に出るしかねえだろ。
Being an evil person seems to be the Emperor's job description. Well, at least Arthur Gaz acted like it was when he ruled for 500 years with cruelty while experimenting on his own people. Cool dude for sure. His reign thankfully ended 5 years ago when 8 heroes, badass warriors joined and defeated the Emperor. His death led to a really peaceful period, but as all stories go, peace can last forever. In the present day, we're introduced to Toru Akura, a guy who isn't so happy with this whole peace and everyone loves each other vibe. He was a saboteur in the war, and now it's peacetime, so he just kinda can't find a job. What an actual relatable protagonist. Well, that's if we ignore the whole I wanna be there to war part. One day, our guy meets a wizard whose name is Chaika Trabant. She is in search of her father's remains that have been lost all around. Akura is desperate, so he gets his adopted sister Akari to go with him, and they accept the job. What could go wrong? Well, the Six Nation Alliance sends special soldiers to pursue our band of adventurers. Why ask? Well, Chaika is the daughter of the late emperor. Number 3, Tsubasa Chronicles.
おかえりなさい遺跡の発掘はどうだった怪我は熱とか出なかったご飯ちゃんと食べてた
あ、はい、大丈夫でした。
Here we have Sakura, who does something useful in the story. While researching ancient ruins of Cloud Country, our protagonist, Sayoran, sees a familiar face. He sees his childhood friend, Sakura. And guess what? She has giant wings now. Talk about puberty hitting some people hard. Her giant wings suddenly explode into many feathers that all disappear into different dimensions. Bad news for Sakura, not only does she not have cool wings anymore, she also lost her memories. It seems every feather was a piece of her memory. Sayoran does what any good friend would do and decides to travel to each and every one of those dimensions to find the feathers and bring them back to Sakura. On his noble journey, he's joined by an exiled ninja, Kurogane, a strange and small creature named Mokana, and Frey, who is doing the whole I really don't want to go back home monologue. Will our merry band be able to save Sakura's memories? Well, you just have to find out. Number 2, Katana Gatari.
特に俺が知りたいわけじゃないんだけどな。こういう時はそうしろって言われてきたからな。 次は
何をしに来ただろ？
そうだ何をしに来た
Okay, now this one is special. Imagine Samurai Champloo with a touch of lovey-dovey romance. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? This story takes place in Edo-era Japan, where fighting with swords is as common as evil feudal lords. Sachika Yasuri wants to be the best in sword fighting and practices a very unique style where his body is used as the blade. His quiet life is interrupted when a wild and ambitious girl called Togame comes to see him. She wants to help in a mission to collect 12 legendary swords. Chikiga doesn't really think about the politics or the danger of the mission, he just wants to see an interesting girl, so he does whatever a guy would do. He goes on a life and death adventure so he can win over a girl. Number 1, Yona of the Dawn.
おそばを離れて申し訳ありません。ヨナ姫様。
ハクは私の味方。
For the final series, we have a classic tale. Princess Yona lives in the kingdom of Koka. She's innocent, happy, and most of all, sheltered. She has never felt any danger or fear. Life's good for the princess, but it doesn't last. When treason hits the palace, she loses her position and is forced to flee the palace and her home. With no one to turn to, her only ally is her bodyguard Son Hook, who is also her childhood friend. Yona realizes her kingdom kinda sucks now and she has to do something about it. It's time to be a badass and get back the kingdom with the help of her overpowered bodyguard. Yona of the Dawn is one of the best adventure anime I watched, and if you want an adventure anime with well-written female character plus a badass bodyguard, then this is the show for you.